Now to developing news we first brought to you as breaking earlier this evening. A judge finding a Springfield man guilty of kidnapping and raping a young girl back in 2020. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. Welcome to Western Mass News 11 at 11. I'm Chris Pisano. Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson was in the courtroom this afternoon, and she now joins us live with the story. Maria.
Chris, more than 3 years after an 11-year-old was taken on her walk home from the bus stop, a verdict has finally been reached. Guilty.
Child use of force, Chapter 265, Section 22B. The court finds you guilty.
Shortly after closing arguments ended on Wednesday, a judge finding Miguel Rodriguez guilty, kidnapping and raping a young girl back in 2020. The 11-year-old Springfield girl was walking home from the bus stop on a January afternoon when she was forced into the back of a blue Honda, prompting an Amber Alert and a frantic search. The hours-long search coming to an end after one brave couple sprung into action after spotting a vehicle that matched the description of the one police were looking for. But Amanda Deasley says she doesn't see herself as a hero. Instead,
I call us parents.
Yep.
I call us parents, and we have 4, and I hope somebody would do that too. The whole community came together that day.
Deasley and her husband, Benny Cora, called police and followed the then 24-year-old suspect in a pursuit that ultimately led to his capture. And now, 3 years after that frightful day, Rodriguez stone-faced as his guilty verdict was read.
As to count 6, charging assault by means of a dangerous weapon, Chapter 265, Section 15B, Subsection B. The court finds you guilty.
The couple once again speaking with Western Mass News to share with us their reaction to Wednesday's verdict.
We were jumping for joy. We were happy.
Amanda Deasley flew from Florida to testify in the Springfield courtroom where she saw Rodriguez again.
Disgusting.
Very cold.
It was
It
disgusting.
was very cold.
The mom of 4 saying this experience has changed her.
How often do you guys think about this case and everything that's happened?
Every moment of every day.
Every day. Because now we learn to be more cautious with our children.
Yeah.
Even the littlest things of walking to the top of the street, we're just, because now we know anything can happen. It's not just on the news. It's not in the movie. It's actually real life.
Rodriguez will be back in court next month for sentencing. That hearing is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. And until then, Deasley and Korea tell me that they are hoping that that day will finally close a chapter on this case so that everyone involved can begin to heal. Reporting live in studio, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.
Maria, thanks.